Welcome, everyone, to the Delhi Township meeting of the Board of Trustees. Here tonight on March the 26th, we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by tonight's moment of silence. Delhi lost a very beautiful resident, person, and Burt Brothers. Burt Brothers was, to me, the founding mother of our senior center. She was the president of the senior center for 22 years. She lived a beautiful life to 100 years old, and we just lost her this past week. Burt was preceded in death by her husband, Louis Joseph Brothers. She was raised with 6 siblings. She was also the mother of 6. She had 9 grandchildren and 12 great-grandchildren. I would just like to take a moment to say to Bert's family how much this community appreciated her time of service to that senior center. And thank you, and please, Lord, take care of our Bert. She was certainly good to us. All right, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. What's that noise?
Screen coming down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
All right, we'll begin the meeting with the approval of the minutes, Mr. Luby.
Motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting on March 12th, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve overtime for pay period ending March 18th, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve bills for payment.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor? Yes.
Yes.
Motion approved. Report from our fiscal officer then, Mr. Luby.
Significant transactions since our last meeting. As far as deposits, we received $69,000, and that was from the permissive motor vehicle license tax, and the local government distribution. As far as distributions, we got a check for DTS funding for the month of February for $72,000, and on 3/13, our payroll was $314,000. That's all I have.
Okay. All right. We'll continue then with trustee correspondence. Trustee Davis.
I have a couple, but I'm going to wait until we have individual department heads. We'll just run it by them instead of going through things twice.
Okay. All right. Trustee Sturts.
Yes, we were notified that on March 17th, there was a press release that the Delhi Athletic Club at Delhi Town Square announced its receipt of the MXM Locations of Excellence Award. To achieve this highly acclaimed award, a club must receive an average score of 9 or higher in the 5-member feedback categories. Winners are selected based upon 2 criteria. The winner must have at least 240 valid member feedback responses for the last 6 months of 2023. The winner must achieve an average score of 9 in 4 required categories and 1 flex category score of 9. So congratulations, Delhi Athletic Club, for being such a new club, and this is just wonderful accolades. And I think all the members will agree that well-deserved. So thank you.
And after just a short time.
Sure, yeah, exactly.
All right. I have no reports for this evening. We'll follow them with, Mr. Luby, did you have any additional report to add tonight?
I do not.
Okay. All right. We'll then go to the department heads. Fire department, please. Chief Campbell.
Yes, thank you, trustees. Just the department update today. Yesterday, Chief Helms and I met with Cincinnati Recycling and Reuse Hub and entering a partnership with them. So I'd like to read just a real brief summary of what that involves. Cincinnati Recycling and Reuse Hub is a nonprofit organization in Lower Price Hill that accepts hard-to-recycle items, including things like electronics, light bulbs, and batteries, in an effort to keep these potentially hazardous materials out of the landfill. The hub is partnering with tri-state area fire departments to collect lithium batteries thanks to funding from Rumpke Waste and Recycling. Lithium batteries pose a potential fire risk, especially for sanitation workers if placed in waste bins or curbside recycling. In an effort to keep lithium batteries out of the landfill and provide safe disposal options for the public, Rumpke is renewing the funding for this collection program and its expansion in 2025, which now includes Delhi Township Fire Department. So we met with them yesterday. They dropped off their supplies, offered a training. We will post on our website and then be linked to Cincinnati Recycling and Reuse Hub when that comes full active. But basically, we expect to receive damaged and regular lithium batteries for disposal from Delhi Township residents that want to come by and dispose of them properly rather than throw them away. We will make the fire station at 697 Neeb Road available to them during normal business hours. That way they can be rest assured that those devices will be rendered safe and essentially reused or recycled properly rather than going in the landfill. So we thought this was a good opportunity to get in at the ground level. I know the community is very supportive of our recycling programs in other fashions. This is one that definitely represents more of a hazard, but one that we're willing to accept. And I think I've spoken to the board before where we have had instances with lithium-ion battery fires in the township. We struggle to safely isolate them. Last one, we had to leave out behind Public Works until we got all the investigation completed and stuff. So this company will allow, essentially, we'll be able to isolate smaller batteries at no cost to the township, no cost to the fire department. They maintain the supplies. We basically call them when it's time to pick them up, and that would be damaged and regular ones. So I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up. The program's coming. We're probably about 2 weeks out from full blasting it on the email and partnering whatever we have to do with parks to give folks another option. So just lithium-ion batteries.
Okay, so you'll post that on your website.
No,
Mr.
we'll put it through the township.
Yeah, Mr. Miller, make sure that that gets on our website as well, because we do get a lot of questions about disposal of lithium batteries.
Absolutely.
I also received a question this past week about propane tanks, not the kind they're refillable, but I guess there's certain grills have smaller propane containers, and asking about where to dispose of those. Would you happen to know that?
With the gas in it, or
Empty.
just the empty
It's an
tanks?
empty propane
Empty still tanks are totally inert. They're able to be disposed of. The only issue is if they're under compressed gas or have gas in them.
Okay, so if you've used it and it's registering 0 or however a propane,
If it's been totally emptied, then it's like any other metal container. It's
Okay.
totally inert. If you don't want to take the chance, definitely we'll take a phone call at the firehouse and help walk people through whatever the issue may be. It's kind of a general broad scope of product, but obviously I feel more comfortable if they contact us directly. We do have disposal options for a number of hazards. I think unfortunately people were deterred from those because there is a cost associated with kind of hazard fees and things like that. And then obviously you got
but
cleanup
summer
day coming.
grilling coming around, it's those propane, they're small tanks. I mean,
Yeah, like a Coleman tanks and stuff like that, yeah. If there is no gas in them, or they're an inert product, it's just, if they need that extra assurance, please call the firehouse at 513-922-2011.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Trustee Davis? Trustee Sturts?
No, thank you.
All right,
All right, thank you.
moving along, Parks and Recreation. Mr. Luby, you want to read the motion, please?
We have a motion to approve the hiring of Haston W. King as seasonal Parks and Recreation worker in the Parks and Recreation Department at a pay rate of $16 per hour upon successful completion of background check and drug testing effective on March 26, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes, bless
Motion
you.
approved.
Motion to approve the hiring of Jacob A. Livingston as seasonal Parks and Recreation worker in the Parks and Recreation Department at a pay rate of $15 per hour upon successful completion of background check and drug testing effective on March 26, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion approved.
We have Resolution 2025-33, entering into agreements with the Delhi Community Benefit Skirt Softball Committee for use of Delhi Park for its 2025 annual charity event and 5K race, authorizing the administrator to execute agreements, declaring an emergency, and dispensing with a second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Mr. Soupy?
It's every year for the skirt game contract, and over the past, I'd say 4 or 5 years now, that they've also done a 5K in October. So we're just getting them both approved today.
Okay.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes. Department update from Mr. Soupy?
Yeah, just a couple things. So we are on track of getting the waters all turned on in the parks and surrounding areas. So our April 1st date is looking good to be opening everything up. Still working on cleaning all the restrooms, getting stuff set. We did order mulch, getting ready to take care of the beds. That's all starting to shape up. There's a couple jobs we've been finishing up here in the rainy season, which is the area by the lake, Clearview Lake, and a couple of the fields that we enlarged and took out a couple lips on the ends. So those are getting completed. And right now the grass is starting to grow and the guys are going to be busy, but the final, and we are still working on aspects of the dog park. We're working on getting the ramps, everything set in, and the water fountains hooked up. It's been a little wet right now, so fighting in between the raindrops, we're getting down there when we can. So.
Mr. Soupy, at the end of the asphalt, when you turn into the Clearview Lake entrance, like where you'll be coming in for the farmer's market?
Yes.
There's a huge torn-up, muddy
Yeah,
area.
that's the issue. It seems at the end of the pavement,
Right, at
it
the
has
end of the
caused a
pavement.
washout, and the geese haven't helped with it. So we're in the process of fixing that right now. We have everything cut up, taken up, and our initial thought was putting some concrete, but we're going to do some sod starting out and regrow the grass there and fence it in.
Okay, so you're actually going to grass on top of the
Yes,
mud?
on the dirt.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little too wet right now to top it off. We're ordering it this end of this week, probably next week.
All right,
So.
thank you.
Yes.
Trustee Davis?
I have a couple of things there. That lake area that you're just speaking of, Randy, is that what some of the public has been talking about, with that mud running off onto that?
Yeah, that is one of
Okay.
the aspects.
And again, because the water's turned on, we're trying to get that, that's
Yes.
why. So that'll be much cleaner as
Oh,
we
yeah.
go and grow here. And,
Yeah, it's a lot of water running down the parking lot to reach the lake. So we're gonna do a little diversion right there with a curb and some new grass and some bigger boulders to divert a lot of runoff onto the sidewalk.
Very good. And I know this is that time of year where you guys are really on the radar and people
Yeah.
wanting it to be
Yeah, taking
fantastic,
care of
which
little
we
things
all
that
want it,
can-
but it's going to take a little work.
Yep.
The restrooms, as we had an issue in the past on the are you scheduled cleanings on that? So
Yeah.
we know, like weekly follow-up?
Yeah, we do
checkup?
weekly, probably twice a week when we do them now. Really deep cleaning, we'll do it once a week. It is rough because occasionally you'll have some people that abuse it regularly, and we try to get in there the next day, but we don't catch everything right off the bat, and then they get in there before us. So
Okay.
once we open them, we'll take care of it and knock them out.
Yeah, and there's no issue, especially those watching at home who are what we call the keyboard warriors. There's no issue at all contacting the department head when you have issues in the park or whatever. That's what they're there for. Or you can even flag an employee aside and say, hey,
Yeah.
I was down by the restroom looks horrible. Trust me, we will jump on it. We'll get there.
Absolutely.
But again, let us know. And when you have someone in the park, feel free, and I'm not going to speak, but I'm going to, any one of us, of your elected officials, you can call us personally. Our numbers are everywhere. Call us personally. If there's something going on with that or you're not getting result, we don't mind. Call Skylar, the administrator. Trust me, we will hear about it one way or another. So absolutely, don't ever feel like you can't just reach out and just talk with us.
Yeah, for sure. It's a daily ritual. Restrooms, garbage, it's constant. So
Exactly.
we're working on everything with it. Yeah.
And that was my next point.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman in the township who seems to be wanting to take our garbage inventory, and that's fine if he's got the time. And my thought is, if in fact that we have garbage out there that needs to be cleaned up, then let's clean it up. I don't know where he's talking about. I don't know if he's just, old information, but it's since been cleaned. Yeah. But that being said, regardless, it's someone who's bringing up a comment all the time. Yeah. One thing I heard was coming into the park, well, that's not really on our property. And I don't know, and again, if I'm not accurate, just tell me. But my thought is, if you're coming in from the park, everyone is seeing that as you come in. They're not discerning whether that is on township property or the neighbor's fence line, but is there a way of going through there, even just pulling the garbage out so people don't see it when the first visions that they see of our.
Yeah, and an issue is too, the trees are down right now, so you're seeing further in, and we are working on getting things cleaned up further into it. Like I said, it is really muddy right now, and it's hard to get up into a lot of those aspects, so.
And the fence line behind the Kroger building was brought up to the Kroger people.
Yeah, that has been brought up to the appropriate people to clean up their aspect, the garbage flowing over the fence. That was the similar issue with the property lines.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Very good.
It's come up, and I believe it has to come up more, so yeah, it's a process.
Yeah, and as always, you guys do an awesome job, and our parks are crown jewels here, obviously, in the township, and people that come in and see them, they're really impressed.
Yeah,
I drove by Sunday afternoon, and the park was crazy. I mean, there were people everywhere. But I noticed up at the children's tot lot, these cars, SUVs that are pulling in and then backing up to that. And I get it, they wanted to be able to freely pull out. My concern is a safety concern when they're pulling in their cars or their SUVs and backing. Kids are playing all over there, and for them to have that obstructive view is my fear. So is there a way, and I don't know if it's legal or not, with police or with you, Brian, can we put something up there? Please do not back your cars in. Pull in,
Head
pull
and
in.
parking only.
Yeah, head in, because it gives it a, what's a nice way to say it? For some reason, when they back their cars in, for some, it hits their brain, I think I'll check my oil while I'm here.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yes.
And you come through, people have their hoods up, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not, that to me destroys the beauty of our park. If your car broke down, that's a different story. But my point is there something we could do to make sure they know to pull head in instead of?
Yeah, we could put up a sign for sure. It'll take a little while for people to get that routine. It took that way when we had the new pavement. We never did veer around before the playground was there around the island. And now that spot's tight, we remarked everything, arrowed everything. And you still have the people that didn't look down. The access is there. It's just getting that out of their head for years and years and years that they're coming right here and going through.
Yeah,
So-
maybe expand that arrow like 5 or 6 more feet so they have enough and they see that. But that would be great. And again, I just think it's a safety thing. When you're back in your car, you can't see what's behind you, and there's kids literally all over through there, which is awesome to see them,
for
having
sure.
fun in the park. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Trustee Sturts?
Yes. Mr. Supi, the 2 new hires tonight, are these brand-new hires or are they returns?
The 2 are brand-new hires this
Yeah,
time.
that's
Yes.
nice, good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, along with the back of vehicles being opened up at the playground, I did receive one call, and Chief Braun, you may have to answer on this one as well. Opening the back of SUVs and blasting music out the back of the vehicle. Did you see that too, Mike? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know if that's a noise nuisance. I don't know where that comes in, but it was loud and it was a little offensive. How's that?
Yeah, on our rules, it does have a section that says no loud offensive music. By nature, people rent the shelters for their own daily use, and generally, people try to follow that. And if we're there that day, we'll tell them to turn it down, be respectful. If one of us aren't around, you could for sure call the non-emergency line, for the police, and then have them stop by.
Okay.
I think part of the issue was they're going into the tot lot area back in the back there, blasting their music while all of these 6- and 7-year-olds are listening to, god-awful music. I know that's all objective or subjective, who likes what. But that's an issue too, and maybe we need to look at that. And I don't know if you can do that. The tot lot is for this age and under. I don't know, but that's a major issue.
It says something like that up there already.
There's a few signs for regulation on play areas, yeah.
Yeah.
From 0 to, or 2 to 4, or 5 to 12 and above, yeah. So,
And that actually went up when we had large teenage children playing on the sway.
yeah.
So that had to stop, or the sway was going to be broken.
Which
Okay.
it was, wasn't it? A couple times?
Yeah, it was. A few of them are.
Was?
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, we
Couple
fixed
things,
many
yeah.
of things up there.
Wow. All right, moving along to the next department then, and Chief Braun, it's your turn. I have a motion, please, Mr. Luby.
We have a motion to approve the voluntary resignation of Selma H. Youns, effective March 17th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion approved.
We have a motion to approve the hiring of Ashley Smith as part-time clerk at a rate of $16 per hour, contingent upon the successful completion of the background check, drug test, and voice stress analysis, effective on March 26, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion approved.
We have Resolution 2025-34, establishing a mental health checkup program to provide annual mental health checkups for all police department employees, authorizing service agreements with Pinpoint Behavioral Health Solutions, appointing the Township Administrator to execute the agreement, declaring an emergency, and dispensing with the second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Chief, discussion on this resolution?
So the two prior, the motions, as far as Selma is resigning, she's going to spend time going, as far as focusing on her schooling. She has aspirations going to law school, and it was just becoming too much. The motion to hire Ashley Smith, she is a Delhi resident. She currently works part-time with Amberley Village PD. So she's going to maintain both jobs, and we're looking forward to having her on. As far as the mental health checkups for our officers, I got to give a kudo to Chief Campbell, because last year when he introduced this to his department, I kind of looked sideways at it a little bit and then educated myself and realized that this is something that we need to do for our people. And we're always looking to learn, we're always looking to expand, and the reality is we do medical checkups for our people every year, but we need to start thinking about mental health and make sure that they're sharp as they can be when they go out and about, because they have to be at their best when they're out doing the job that they do. And, especially police and fire, we see things that people shouldn't see. And, and obviously when that cup gets full and it starts running over, it becomes a problem. And we want to get it there before it, gets to that point. And what this is going to entail, it's going to entail training for everybody. There's going to be some leadership training for the supervisors to know what to look for, how to react, and what to do. And there's also going to be a mandatory check-in every year, just to check in with people and to make sure that they're doing good and okay, and at home and at work. And then if they need additional assistance, the company that we're going with is actually part of our EAP program, so they can spin off.
This isn't a one and done, this is a continuous checkup program.
That's correct.
Okay.
So it's just, I think it's the least we can do for our people and our community to make sure that they're sharp and the top of their game. So,
Okay.
any questions about that?
Trustee Davis,
No?
you want to move to dispense with the second reading?
Nah. Yeah, I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes. And are you finished with your department update, or you have more?
So I just got a couple brief things.
Great.
Going back to what we were talking about in the park and people seeing things and hearing loud music. I mean, we always say, see something, say something. And, we're available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And, our average response time is less than 5 minutes to everything. And, it's just call us and we'll be more than happy to come out. Obviously social media is everybody's, favorite thing to post, but call us and let us know, and we'll be more than happy to come out and take a look and deal with whatever's going on. Secondly, it's starting to get warmer. The windows are open. We're starting to get, I know we covered some stuff about dogs last meeting, but, barking dogs, obviously we get a lot of complaints about dogs barking. There is a resolution in our community regarding barking dogs, and and the terminology really is, the resolution's written to talk about it's seriously unreasonable for persons of ordinary sensibilities. So there is no time frame on dogs barking. If the dog is barking continuously and is causing annoyance and alarm to people, then call us and we'll come take care of it. So other than that, I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Chief, if you would. Chief, I have a couple of things quickly. On the park detail, we have an officer that's in the park, and that's great. But you also have another kind of a task force that also hits hotspots in the township. As I understand it, we are also going to have an increased police presence in the park going through, just to be seen. Again, that is still the plan, correct?
Absolutely. So that the park detail starts April 1st. However, the problem-oriented policing unit is going to be the ones working on that. So they're going to assign the officer to that detail. However, during the day, warm days, obviously what you're going to see and what my expectation is they're going to set the message and tone right away and make sure that people understand that we expect people to behave and mind their P's and Q's and obey the rules in the parks, and we're going to see that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to control our narrative on this. They don't control us. So it is a matter of making sure that they see that and that the park detail officer knows what this board expects and what the rules that have been passed that they should be adhered to. Instead of just, well, I'll drive by and maybe they won't. Not that they would, but it can't be a thing where we just kind of lay off. It's like teaching. Your first day of teaching, you put the hammer down sometimes. You can always let up, but you have to establish your goals and what you're trying to accomplish, because it is a family-friendly park, and we want to keep it family-friendly, okay?
In fact, today, Officer Gelhar was there today, you know, keeping an eye on things, and he came across somebody that was wanted on a felony warrant and took him to jail. So we're looking for everything, we're watching everything, and we're doing our best. And obviously, we can't be everywhere all the time, but
Yeah.
we're going to have a couple extra sets of eyes in the park until people get the message, and so it's clear.
Right, which is awesome. I also have to applaud your department on seeing more police presence up on Delhi Pike, watching the red lights and things like that. Again, if you're not running red lights, you have nothing to be concerned about. You shouldn't have any concern at all if you see a cruiser sitting there. But I think we have all seen firsthand people just running the lights at Kroger's, at Frisch's, at Anderson Ferry and Delhi, all of them. And how ironic that last Thursday night, a nasty auto accident happened at Anderson Ferry in Delhi. And it was a good friend of mine and his friend going through, and the car ran the red light. He was in the hospital several days, and now he's rehabbing over in Western Hills. Awesome job for you guys, because the night before I drove by, they were sitting there watching, and that's what it has to happen. And I've heard some crawlings in the neighborhood that, hey, that they're watching. Exactly. That's how it should be. And with the warmer weather and everyone up there, people, be careful up there. There are people everywhere, school kids, you name it. Be careful. And certainly don't run the light, because if you run the light, that ticket was just increased, do I understand it right, $150 now? $150 fine if you run the red light. So knock it off, just don't do it. Be safe, you're not in that much more of a hurry to get to where you need to go. And I know the majority of those people running the red lights are not good Delhesians. These are other people coming into the area, but.
Well, and of course, voluntary compliance is our buzzword sometimes on a lot of things we do, but we'd rather wave to you than turn the lights on to say hi to you, so.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Trustee Sturts?
No, thank
No?
you.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Public Works, Ron Rippinger.
We have a motion to accept the same levels of service and estimated service fees for the 2026 program year as were offered to co-permittee jurisdictions in 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved. Now, department update, Ron?
Sure. Let's see. I got a couple little things. BP Pipeline did get back to me, and they really didn't give me as much information as I wanted, but they did start with some dates. Starting at the end of this month till July, they'll be working on Anderson Ferry, as I've been mentioning. He was supposed to send me some more information, so I'll reach back out. So that'll definitely affect a fair amount of traffic like it did the past couple of years on Anderson Ferry. But I think the big thing is we'll put it on Facebook as soon as we know about it, and hopefully people can go alternate routes to lighten it up, make things move faster. Other than that, still working on litter throughout the township. I've turned in multiple locations to the city. I've been on the phone with the county a lot. I know they've done a couple of the spots, but we're pushing to get some other spots done. And then I know our crews have done a fair amount in the past few weeks also. So trying to stay on top of that.
Thank you, Ron. And thank you for picking up the litter. Trustee Davis?
No, no.
Trustee Sturts?
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Now, administration, Mr. Miller.
We have a motion to approve the hourly rate of Assistant Fiscal Officer Melissa L. Brock to $33.66 per hour, effective March 19th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Resolution 2025-35, authorizing the Township Administrator to spend greater than $10,000 on behalf of the Township in fiscal year 2025, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And discussion on this resolution, Mr. Miller?
Yes, ma'am. These are some planned purchases, again, in excess of $10,000. We have the replacement of an HVAC unit, some infrastructure improvements for the park, and then we have some additional equipment for the athletic club.
Okay.
I will move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis? Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-36, updating and amending the public records policy to Article 2, Ethical Conduct, Public Records Confidentiality of the Delhi Township Personnel Policy Handbook dated January 31st, 2024, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And discussion on this resolution, Mr. Miller?
Yes, ma'am. This is an update to our public records policy in relation to changes in state law related to House Bill 315. This affects the public records that are released to the public from the police department, specifically our body camera footage.
Okay.
So, we're just staying current with ORC.
Okay.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-37, entering into a lease with General Services Agency, authorizing the Township Administrator to execute the agreement, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And discussion on this resolution, Mr. Miller?
With the move of the administration over to DTS, we had an empty building over at 934 Neeb, and I would say it's somewhat fortuitous. We have a federal agency in the Cincinnati region that needs some temporary office space for the next few years. So this is really a win-win, relationship and agreement. The township is going to benefit from this. We have some additional revenue that'll go to general fund, and it gives us some breathing room to kind of recover our TIF fund from this project before we take on any new construction projects in the future.
That's great. For those of you who are confused on what we're talking about, it's the former administration building has been leased, and that's what this service agreement is about.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-38, authorizing engagement with DSD Advisors LLC to render government relations services, appointing the Township Administrator to execute the service agreement, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Discussion, Mr. Miller?
For a number of years, the township has had a consulting relationship with Focus Capital Group. That agency, consulting firm, is transitioning. They're actually doing a merger with the SD Advisors. So it's basically the same team, actually an expanded team now that the township is working with. This just kind of memorializes that transition. So same fees that we've been paying, no changes for to the detriment. It's all
like I said, all beneficial. A larger team will be working with us for legislative issues at the State House.
Okay, thank you.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes. Administrators report now, Mr. Miller.
First off, let me apologize for the technical difficulties. That was, it's normally plug and play, but today it had a different agenda, I suppose. I think third attempt of rebooting, it finally just woke up. So I have no idea what I did, but I'll take it. Couple of updates. Of course, we're gearing up for spring, so we've got the lawn bar activities are going to be starting up April 4th. We do have a lot of events coming up in April. We're certainly seeing increased activity in the event center. Memberships are picking up in the athletic club, so we're coming up on a year of activity at Delhi Town Square, and we're certainly seeing the use of the space grow. First time I heard the fire alarm in practice today was right before this meeting. So I didn't know that our very own Chief Campbell was the recorded voice on our alarm system. Did you practice for that, Chief, or
I
was
think
that?
AI probably had something to do with it, and I clearly did not get my bonus for that recording.
There should be.
But now we know the smoke detectors work.
Yeah, so it was in fact a real alarm, just a minor, some smoke that came out of the kitchen. So the building works. We do have a 11-month warranty check coming up in April, so we've got a very large team within all the departments that are going to be coming through here and working with our Turner group to essentially identify any ongoing issues so we can basically keep those warranty items open, so that they're still covered. So that's coming up in April. Other than that, the only other thing I wanted to talk about, there were a couple residents that reached out to me regarding gas aggregation. So there's some confusion right now. Essentially, why is your bill high? Okay, it could be a number of issues. One thing you want to check, make sure first and foremost you're on our gas aggregation. All right, the gas aggregation, our supplier is AEP. All right, if you have anything else on your bill for the gas, you're not in the energy aggregation, and you're paying whatever that other supplier is charging. I saw one person that had 10 cents per unit over our aggregation fee. Another was 30 cents over. That bill their gas bill could have been reduced by $100. So aggregation does work. It does require you to be a vigilant consumer. Just like when you go into the grocery store and you check prices, you got to do it with your bill. So make sure you're on AEP for our gas. If you're not, give us a call and we'll help you, discuss your options and figure that out. If you're not on the Duke, the generic Duke user, you have to actually call the supplier that you have and withdraw from their, from your contract with them in order to get on aggregation. So
And find out if there's a cancellation fee.
there could be a cancellation fee. Some places do, some places don't. Our aggregation program does not have any cancellation fees, so you can opt out anytime. But certainly something to consider, especially, I know people are getting ready to open up their pools and whatnot, so their electric could go up. Just keep an eye on those utility bills. If you have any questions, the township does have an aggregation page on our township website. You can also call the township administration. We're happy to help out. There's plenty of local resources to to aid you if you have any questions. So,
Thank you.
and any questions for me?
All right, thank you. All right, community development then will follow with Director Roach. You have a resolution, Mr. Luby?
Resolution 2025-39, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 598 Claymore Terrace, declaring an emergency and dispense with a second reading.
Introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
And discussion on this resolution, Mr. Roach?
Yep, good evening, everyone. So we had started out with 4. Grass isn't grown yet, so everything's been debris for the past 2 or 3 trustees meetings. We removed 1 this morning, so the next 3 that Mr. Luby's going to read are all debris. So we're just requesting you to declare their properties a nuisance.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis? Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-40, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 1165 Devil's Backbone Road, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And discussion on this same debris?
Same debris, yep.
Yeah.
Move to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-41, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 4810 Mayhew Avenue, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Debris?
Yeah, debris, and it's kind of interesting because this resident is actually encroaching on the rear yard of Station 36.
Okay.
This looks like this has like been here for a while. I mean, that doesn't look like that's fresh cut or anything. Is that accurate?
Trustee Davis, I don't know how long it's been there, but it looks like it has seasoned. It was laying there. It was just reported to us just a couple weeks ago, and that's when, we acted on it and brought it to your board because we got no response.
Very good.
Okay.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes. Department update, Ms. Roach?
Yes, thank you, Madam Trustee. Just a few things. It is true, Dolly's is coming. They have already applied for permits. They're shooting for a tentative date of April the 7th. They're having a hire frenzy there. They're hoping to bring 60 jobs back to the township. And we drove by there today and looked like there might have been some training going on for new employees. KFC spoke with the architect, and they will be applying for permits. They will need nothing from community development because it's all interior work, and they're not changing the footprint. So they'll be working with Hamilton County and Chief Campbell on their permitting. So they're in the permitting process, so it may take a little bit while longer just for you to see any action up there, but it is going to be reopened eventually. And the third and final thing, Pedretti Place over at Pedretti and Foley, they're ahead of schedule. I think they're about a month ahead of schedule, and they're looking for a ribbon cutting around June 25th. And I think they are accepting applications for leasing. And if anybody wants any information on that, they can contact our office at 922-2705, and we can put them in contact with Urban Sites or someone for that information. Other than that, that's all I have this evening, unless you guys would have any questions for me.
If I may. Tony, can you update the board on just our conversation with Seton this week?
Yeah, so we had a virtual with Michael Collins, Angela Hahn, who's the attorney representing Seton, some representatives from Abercrombie and Associates, and Ron was there, and Randy was there, as myself, about the Clemmy Drive improvements. And about, they're looking to happen in, I believe, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, in the spring or summer of '26. That's when that project's looking at, and that's a township, and that's a grant-funded project through ODOT.
Correct. yes.
Okay, thank you. And also, we talked about some vacating a part of land there, vacating it and working out a shared parking agreement with Seton to where the township would vacate it. The property, typically when you do a vacation, it's like a 50-foot right-of-way over there. And typically when you do a vacation, the property would get divided by both adjacent properties. So the township would typically get 25, Seton would get 25. I think Mr. Miller's working towards let the Seton take the, vacating the whole 50 feet to Seton, but then in return, the township would have some overflow parking perpetuity on the property.
So in essence, it's Seton that would be funding all of the improvements. The land would be in Seton's name, but we would still have, permanent access to that. So the major purpose of that discussion is both for our benefit and Seton's. We want a very smooth transition between, all these new improvements that we've done at DTS to there. Well, we don't want a no man's land, if you will, of this undeveloped rough land. We're looking at creating the smoothest transition possible between the two sites. For their retaining walls, they're even looking at matching the retaining walls that we have on our site. So everything has a flow, everything is contiguous. There's a lot of, good intention and thought being put into the initial, planning. And, we're certainly very happy that Seton is taking, this particular tact with it. They don't have to, but this is the effort they're putting into it. So very excited to see where this goes. Yep. Thank you, Tony.
That's all I have for your board, unless you guys would have any questions for me.
No.
No?
No, obviously, the parking the cars on the front lawns and such is really picking up, and, when you're doing that, I know Mount Verno's been a heavy concern there. Just remember, folks, you can't park on your front lawn, you can't park on the sidewalk. One is, if you're up on your lawn, you're probably going to have somebody from zoning come out. If you're up on the sidewalk, you're probably going to have a police officer knock on your door. It's nothing personal, you just can't do it. Imagine if everyone was just parking their cars wherever they want. I'm a little bit easier when there are absolutely no spots in the driveway. I get that. But the 90% of what I see, cars up on the front lawn, there's 2 spots open in the driveway, but we just didn't want to have to ask, someone to move their car to get mine out. It's like, that can't be.
Yeah, we're being proactive, Trustee Davis. If we see something, John will address what affects zoning, and then if there's something that would address the police side, then he's in contact with Lieutenant Schmaltz or Chief Braun, sending them pictures and information of addresses as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing. Just knock on the door and say, hey, just so you know, are you going to be there long? Because we're not looking to try and cite them. You're not supposed to do it. We can't. I would say from past conversations, probably over 90% are like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think, it's just there for 5 minutes, fine, whatever. I know there's frequent flyers in the township that want to play a game with it, but the most part, I think just a knock on the door and just say, hey, and they've responded positively, yes?
Sometimes it's just a little education of what the regulations are.
Okay.
Also, Mr. Roach, we're coming up to summer vacation camping sites and so on, which always brings out people with their RVs. If I understand this correctly, they can notify you or notify the police that they're going to be there for 24 hours or the weekend while they pack up to leave. Is that right?
So they would notify Community Development, 922-2705, and we understand that residents have toys and trailers they bring home. I'm one of them. But yes, so they got to get them ready, clean them, do some maintenance,
Right.
and we can actually grant them up to 48 hours to be there. But call our office. That way, we got to have a board we put them on in the summertime. And if we get complaints from any other resident, well, they say, hey, we'll know they're there. They did the right thing and called us. Let us know they're there. They have to be on paved surfaces in the front yard, in driveways. Can't be in your front yard and grass, that type of stuff. But we understand that. Just be courteous to your neighbors. Let us know, and we'll be more than happy to work with you.
Great. Thank you. Anything?
No,
All
thank
right.
you.
All right. I have no one signed in with public comment. Is that correct? All right, good. Then we will move right on in to community announcements. Mr. Miller.
All right, bear with me. I've got 2 pages full here.
Yes, you
So-
do.
All right. Community Easter egg hunt, sponsored by the Delhi Skirt Game, is Saturday, April 12th. Egg hunt starts at 9:30. Arrive early to get in line. Delhi Park main stage area is the location. 2 age groups will be provided for, 5 and under and 6 through 12. Photos with the Easter Bunny will be available as well, and police and fire vehicles will be on display. Delhi Cleanup Day is Saturday, May 10th from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. It's at the Delhi Senior and Community Center on Neeb Road. This event is free and open to Delhi residents only. Proof of residency is required. Residents must be in line by 1 p.m. to participate. No yard waste, computer equipment, hazardous chemicals, liquids, paint, batteries, or closed drums will be accepted. Check the Township's website for a complete listing of acceptable items or contact Dan Ryan at 513-451-3300. Announcing our Delhi Summer Concert Series for 2025. Concerts are held at our Delhi Park Pavilion at 7 p.m. The series includes June 4th, The Whammies, June 18th, Cincinnati Transit Authority, July 23rd, The Eagles Project, August 6th, Deviate, August 20th, The Menus, September 3rd, Forever Diamond. Food and drinks are available for purchase. No coolers, please. All right, the Delhi Event Center at Delhi Town Square, events and programs. The Event Center encompasses many spaces and hosts a variety of activities, events, exhibitions, classes, and social gatherings of all ages, including arts, cooking and baking, mixed media, painting, parent-child workshops, sewing arts, theater arts, therapeutic arts, and wine tastings. We invite you to check out our complete listing of youth classes, adult classes, and our art gallery on the Delhi Event Center website. Excuse me. At www.delhieventcenter.com and our Facebook page, Delhi Event Center. You can also access our calendar on a program enrollment button found on the homepage of our Township Administration website at www.delhi.oh.us. Here are a few of the upcoming events at the Delhi Event Center. Perfect Day Wedding Showcase is this Saturday, March 30th. Or excuse me.
Yeah.
It's March 30th. Isn't that a Sunday? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that's Sunday, March 30th. This is actually,
Now I don't know when it is.
no, I believe it's Sunday, March 30th, so I apologize for that. Okay, from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. This is at the Delhi Event Center, Delhi Town Square, actually in this room. Join Garnish Catering and 3GLS Catering at the Delhi Event Center for the debut Perfect Day Wedding Showcase, where you can learn how to make your dream wedding a reality. Discover the latest wedding trends, meet top-tier vendors, and get inspired by displays of gorgeous gowns, dreamy decor, and stunning florals. I believe we're going to have about a dozen vendors here to show that off. Whether you're newly engaged or putting the finishing touches on your big day, this showcase is your ultimate guide to get you to your perfect day. Light bites will be included.
Where is this being advertised?
Facebook is where I've saw it.
Facebook, I believe it's in the wedding event pages, but I don't have a full list. So we'll be pushing it out locally, but I believe it's more industry-specific marketing.
Like when we had the beer tasting that went on, I mean, they were advertising radio, they were advertising all over. This is a huge event.
It
and
has
there's a ton of-
huge opportunity, so I'm really hoping that we have a good turnout for this.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yep.
Where we are, if it's just on our Facebook page, we're going to have to do more than that, but,
I agree. Yeah.
okay.
So I don't have a full list for you. But we've certainly said we need to push this.
And that is this Sunday?
Yes, sir.
And how much is the ticket price?
It was my understanding it was a free event, but I see here that it says it's included in the ticket price. So last I checked, this was a free event. So we will get clarification out there to the public. Okay. All right, the Lawn Bar opening weekend, as I stated earlier, is Friday, April 4th and Saturday, April 5th. Friday will be our regular schedule of 5 to 10 p.m. due to a private event on the lawn. Saturday, April 5th, we will open at 7 and go until 10 p.m. Art Uncorked is April 25th and May 23rd from 7 to 9 p.m. Indulge in a night of creativity with our group paint and sip experience, $40 per person. Find a link to register at the Delhi Event Center website. Artist Trading Cards of Cincinnati show is Thursday, April 10th from 6 p.m. to 8:30. Sample 5 outstanding bottles of wine, then stroll through the gallery to see the newest craze in collecting and meet the artist exhibiting. And finally, April 25th, Friday, April 25th, on the lawn at Delhi Town Square, get ready for an unforgettable night of entertainment showcasing the incredible talents right here in our community, hosted by special guest MC Greg Procaccino. Or just come and cheer on your friends and family and cast your vote for the best talent. Sign up on the Delhi Event Center website.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Miller. We do have cause for executive session this evening, so Mr. Luby, could you make the motion?
Motion to retire to executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, and/or compensation of a public employee of the township and imminent litigation.
So,
One sec, we need to add pending litigation as well. Thank you.
And pending litigation.
so moved?
Second?
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, motion approved. I want to thank everyone for your attention so far. We will retire to executive session and return at the end of that. In the meantime, thanks for being here.
Hey Doug, will you be reading the invitations at this wedding event? Will you be reading the invitations? Will you be the voice of the invitations at the wedding event? Hey Skylar, where are we doing this?
What's that?
Where,
Entirely up to the board, but usually we're more comfortable downstairs.
We should probably be downstairs for this.
I already signed that one.
Which one is that, Rose?
Animal mental health.
It doesn't go with that. I don't know. I'll keep an eye. I'll see if it's in here.
I was just saying if it's advertised, I was goofing just to see what came up, and it said it was the actual.
You did it, yeah.